talks about Armada 2.0, I swear to God I will come for you.
Saying that they are surprise mechanics, and people love surprises.
To get a Baneblade, the plastic Baneblade, to sell in the store at ROE Games, 19 Park Lane, Havelock. Come by, see us.
AOSKey here, and this is By the Numbers.
This week we're going to be going over character creation for Wrath and Glory.
My name is Keith, or you can call me ArmorBoy21. It's my gaming deck. Today we're going to go over D&D.
Oh, hello there. Your armor, sir?
Boom!
You take 7 points of damage.
Alright guys, we're rocking out really hard tonight. So what we got going on is Crease.
There will be swearing and or shenanigans of the adult nature.
Damn it!
Can't complain. Got a nice sunny day out here in California, and not really much to complain about.
Okay, well, let's try that again. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Gamer Interrupted. Now that you can hear me, my name is AJ East Coast, and I am your host, and the bread baker has returned after a few episodes missing, but we finally found him. He's back. Major Law, my good buddy Lucas. He's just the best to have around. I love that you've agreed to keep coming back. So how you doing, man? Thank you for coming back. What's going on?
I've mainly just been doing some school and bread baking every day. That's really just been my quarantine hobby, and it kind of started off as like I'm bored, what am I gonna do? But now it's like, I'll just bake some bread, easy.
Just keep baking bread. So I know last time you said something about a focaccia. Anything different these days you got cooking?
I haven't really ventured off into anything too crazy recently. I do bagels every week. I do some nice whole wheat sourdough bagels.
Damn.
For breakfast every single morning.
Damn. That's amazing. Fresh bagels from your house. Can you imagine spending, what would the cost of that be to freaking like every single morning get a bagel from like a regular place or something?
So a pack of 5 bagels, that's like, from a local store here, that's probably going to be like $6-7.
Yeah.
And
good stuff too, you don't want to get like that crappy, stuff that for some reason, like those bagels that come in a bag, they just last for far too long. I wonder why. Like,
yeah, no, the ones that I make, if you don't eat them within like 6 or 7 days, then they've already gone bad, and that's pretty good because that means it's just not pumped full of preservatives.
No. Well, that's good to see that you're doing well. We're here tonight, guys, to discuss the news and everything that's been going on. Got a lot of topics to cover, gamer-related and movie-related. And speaking of movies, I think we'll start off with that topic tonight. We've got Mortal Kombat. I sat down and watched it the day of it came out on HBO Max. I really enjoyed it. I really did. I thought some of it was a little cheesy. The acting could have helped in a little bit of a few ways, but I really enjoyed the martial artistry that was represented was really nice. It was really a lot better of late, and it didn't make fun of the kung fu art or any other form of martial art, even whether that be modern or not. It didn't make fun of it, which is, Lucas, something that we're so used to when we're kids is like, any time that was like a martial arts movie, it was made to be a comedy. Even the first Mortal Kombat, really.
Yeah, I would say that that's true. Like any sort of like fighting movie that I saw as a kid was always some sort of over, not really over dramatized, but over exaggerated. Like kung fu movie that was definitely meant to be funny.
Definitely not to be taken serious, but different this time around. I'm glad too, because it's a very serious movie. And if you guys, they're setting up. It seems from watching the movie, it seems like we're gonna get more of this exact Mortal Kombat. So that's kind of comforting. That it's gonna stick within the realm. So it's not, no one's gonna go make another Mortal Kombat movie that has nothing to do with this one. It looks like there's gonna be some more Mortal Kombat after that. But like I said, the artistry was represented very well. And overall, a pretty solid film. I think a lot of people had a lot more expectations for it than it was, because I've seen some mixed criticism. But I would attest that to say that that's because maybe we were living in a pandemic and they probably finished filming during it and producing it during it. So I think the circumstances given, it was a pretty solid display of film.
Now, you said that was on HBO Max?
Yeah.
Now?
Yeah, if you don't...
I think I do have that, but was it like a pay-per-view kind of thing? Or
No, man. If you have it, you've got it. Same thing with Wonder Woman, and I think they did Judas and the Black Messiah was the other one that came out on there. And I believe the deal right now says that any Warner Brother movies that are going to be released in theater have the potential to come out on HBO Max as well.
Okay. Yeah, because I know Disney, for like a movie or two, they were pumping out their new movies during quarantine. It was like a pay-per-view kind of thing, and I don't really know how those went over. Not super well. Not super well, no. A lot of people were like, well, what am I rushing to spend $20 for when it's... But, I mean, it is kind of an ass because they've got, the trailer up on the main page of Disney Plus for, like, for example, Mulan, that came out like that, and you had to pay like $21 to $29. I don't remember exactly the price, but I know it was a little hefty. But then if you just literally wait like 30 days or like a month or two, then you don't have to do that. But HBO Max, it seems like they're taking away the big movies. Like you won't be able to go back and watch Mortal Kombat after like 28 days or something like that. So they do give you the time limit. So that's the caveat. You don't have to pay right away, but you don't get it forever. I wonder where... I mean, obviously somebody's thought process went into this, but I just wonder what they're thinking behind that, I guess. Yeah. It's cool that they're releasing it for free. I think it's awesome too, because you don't want to go out to the theaters yet if that's your choosing, or even if just whether it has to do with the virus or not, whether you just really don't want to go out. I liked it. I was able to pause it. Got up, go to the bathroom, get a snack, whatever I need to do. When you do that at the movie theaters, it's fuck. What happened? What happened when what happened when I was gone? Yeah, I'm personally not like a huge movie theater fan. Like, really? I'll go if we've got a group of people going, but like overall, if I have the choice of staying home and watching a movie or like going out and watching a movie, then I'll probably stay home. You just have so much more options. Yeah, a lot more options. Yeah. And I mean, yeah, being able to pause and chit chat with your friends and whatnot. I don't know. It's different for everyone. Yeah. But it's cool, and I'm glad that, like you said, HBO is doing it for free. Other services they've similar, like Amazon Prime has got a paid movie theater subscription. I think I would safe to say, and I can't speak for the film industry, but from what I'm looking at, it looks like this might be the norm for maybe moving on in our culture of receiving this stuff. I think this might be the new norm that's going to continue to happen. Yeah. Me and my brothers were actually having a conversation not too long ago. I mean, when the whole AMC thing was booming up, about just the future of things like that in general. Yeah. And it is interesting because you could argue both ways of like, oh yeah, people are going to want to go back to movie theaters, or you could also argue, oh yeah, people have had this
Right.
lovely at-home experience, and they want to keep doing that.
And it's cool too because it gives a little exclusivity and I mean a little bit of favoritism in a way towards movies you know that do get selected to go out onto those services, because like you know in the normal world we had pretty much like six for going for a while there, like 6 or 7 pretty solid movies, you know, that can be considered blockbuster, you would say, at the theater at a time. You know, I remember as a kid, like, damn, do I want to see this one at this time, or do I want to see that one? You know, so it's kind of cool that here on the streaming service they take that away a little bit, because now they really can look forward to, you know, Mortal Kombat coming out.
Yeah. So it definitely is interesting to see where
things will go. Yeah.
Will go in general, because I can see it going either way.
Yeah, I can too as well. So moving on now, Harry Potter, they opened a store, or their store is opening, I'm sorry, in New York City. They opened like a Harry Potter Wizarding World store. So living here down in Orlando, I immediately just thought it's just going to be an extension of what's here at Universal Studios Harry Potter. And it seems that is the case, that this is going to be an extension of that. It's going to be a whole wizarding store. They're going to have wands, a selection that you're going to be able to go and choose. They've got, of course, probably all the merchandise you can think of, and just I saw statues like they had Dumbledore's office kind of recreated in there. They had a lot of cool stuff going on.
So as a Harry Potter fan myself,
yeah.
Big Harry Potter fan. So I had been to London like 2 or 3 times, and there was a lot of Harry Potter like scenes being filmed there. Like,
wow.
A good majority of it. And they have, basically they have like the same type of like Harry Potter stores there, or they also have like, I didn't get a chance to go on this, but there's a tour of like the set.
Oh.
The sets that they were filming on, which I was super jealous, because those got booked out like 3 or 4 months in advance. So
wow.
It was like kind of hard to get a reservation for that. But if I were going to go back, I would definitely
try again. Yeah. That's awesome, man. Well,
it's the same kind of thing where they just take you through the whole, you know, magical experience,
right?
And see how everything was shot, and I think that stuff is super interesting.
I think that's really cool too, because it gives you like another view of your fandom that you didn't have before.
Right.
But yeah, New York City, you know, obviously that's going to be a big draw for people. I'm sure it's going to be very, very illustrious, and the prices, I hope, aren't too crazy. I hope that's one thing I was thinking about. I hope that they're not theme park prices for some of the merchandise, or, you know, I know they have like a pretty set thing on the wands here in Orlando, because like when you get the wand here, it does things in the park, like interacting with the Universal Studios stuff, you know, like you could like, you know, flick your wand and maybe some books will move or something like that. So, I can imagine they're going to they'll have some kind of interactive stuff, you know, things for people to do other than just shop around.
Yeah, I mean, even if it is just a shop, you know, people are still going to go there. People are
yeah.
Buy whatever at whatever price.
People are still going to have a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, now we're going to transition over to kind of like a hybrid of both topics that we're kind of talking about, video games and film. Netflix is thinking about going into the video game business from what I understand, as like a company, like a AAA video game company, that it's possible they might enter the world.
Now that is interesting on its own. I mean, I guess I haven't read too much about this. Or would they be looking at like a streaming game kind of thing, or like what they used to do, where you mail in a game and then you play it for a little bit? And then
no, I can't imagine it'll be, you know, mail in the game thing. But that's
I don't think they would ever do that again.
No, I think that they're trying to, get their hand in the development of the games and like having like their own Netflix
Recreating,
game.
renting.
Yeah, for us to play later. But they have already, done things like they've sponsored games. They've had, like some of their obviously best content, Stranger Things, Cobra Kai.
Stranger Things.
Yeah, sponsored games, but like, stuff like that. So it seems like they've already got that foot in the door a little bit. So if they're just going to transition to doing stuff their own way, they've got a little bit of that experience. And I mean, they're such a powerhouse. They've got more money. I can see that they've got probably a better shot at maintaining a video game studio, if you will, other than people that have tried to do this before, like Amazon, which have continued just to fail miserably. So fucking Netflix, they might be the next ones to do it. And it'd be interesting, like you said, will you be able to like stream a game? Will that be an opportunity that they have? And if so, since they're the kings of streaming, are they going to be the best service available to stream the games? Because I don't know if you've heard much about streaming game services right now.
I know. Is the Xbox Pass? I think that is like a kind of streaming.
Well, with the sorta, yeah, but you get actually like it is downloaded to your Xbox. It'll take up space, PlayStation they're doing that. PlayStation, you can stream the game, so it's like you're not actually putting it on your memory, but you still can play it at home. And I heard it's a little wonky sometimes. It can be. And then Amazon is trying to do it with Luna, but they only are allowed to get games at like 480p right now or something like that. And then Google Stadia, their entire service is streaming games. You just get a little controller and a plug-in, and then that's it.
I think that could be a very viable thing in the future. Obviously, you would have to have like decently good internet for that to be like
pretty good stuff. Yeah.
But I mean, internet speeds are only just going up and up from here as like things like fiber are being more
fiber
around,
more affordable to the regular public. Yeah.
Yeah. Which it's not around here right now, but I mean, the second it is, we'll probably get it.
Yeah.
But I mean, streaming video games, I mean, that if you have the internet for it and it looks good and it runs good, then I mean, I could see that being a very viable thing.
And it's also, like I said earlier, a way to save space. I feel like a lot of these days I'm like, oh damn, I need to get rid of this or whatever. I need to remove this game in order to make more space for Call of Duty update or something like that.
Oh yeah. I personally don't play Warzone, but I know that game is like one of, it's not the biggest like game file of anything out right now.
I haven't played in a while, but it seems that it was over 150 gigs the last time I checked. Yeah, huge games. Games are coming that way now anyway. Cyberpunk, even though the fuck that it was like a 2-part disc series if you bought the disc, and then it was just a really massive amount of memory that was able to play that stuff. But then on top of that, when we were kids, that was a problem, right? The memory issue was a problem, but that was it. That wasn't the extension of the problem. Now you have a memory issue, and then they need to update your thing. So then you go to play your favorite game, and then it tells you, hey, fuck you, you can't even play this game because we tried to update it this morning while you were sleeping, and you don't have any space. So now
I do have a external hard drive for my PlayStation, like specifically.
Me too. Yeah.
It was a terabyte for like $90 or whatever. I mean, not super expensive, but it's still crazy that you have to pay this extra $100 just so you can own more than 2 games at a time.
Yep. Oh man, maybe that's one thing I hope that with the next generations and things like that are coming through with video games evolving is that memory is going to be fixed. That won't be an issue. I thought we were in the clear, and then they, like I said, they started just doing random 57 gigabyte updates.
It's like we went backwards.
Yeah, definitely.
We
Definitely.
went forward, but we took a giant leap backwards.
Huge backwards. So what is not going backwards, however, is Avengers, the video game, still relevant, still around. I be honest with you, when I heard about the Avengers video game last year, I thought this is probably stupid. It's not going to last around. They're getting another expansion, more part of the story. They still have active players a lot. People are playing it online. Like, you're going to be able to play like individually as the 4 heroes together. I played the demo, and I'll be honest with you, I just wasn't impressed. I felt that the game, it was just a little bit too young for me. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like, you know, at what age do you stop watching some of the stupid Disney Channel stuff? That's kind of how I felt with playing that game. It just wasn't really for me, but a lot of people are interested.
Like one of those older, like for instance, I don't know if you played this as a kid, but I played like Marvel Ultimate Alliance for like the original.
Yeah, I love those.
Is it kind of like that?
No, not at all. It's very over the top, very over the shoulder, run shaky camera, cinematic cutscene here, and then play.
Just make you vomit after a while.
Yeah, just keep going over and over and over again. But it was like a lot of Switch stuff, and then there's like you have your own. Like they created a new character, like this female with the elastic hands and things like that. It just. I don't know. It seemed like just kind of like a creative throw up mess. I was kind of a little over it, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I really haven't been too into games like that probably since I was like
a kid, yeah.
like maybe like early high school.
Mm-hmm. Me neither. I was never really into them. There really hasn't been a strong superhero game for a while, you know.
Superhero games, I feel, are like very, very few and far in between of like a good one. Like I know a lot of people were a fan of the Batman series when that was coming out.
Oh, those are great games. Yeah, those are probably the last of my favorite superhero games. You know.
But then ever since those came out, you don't really hear like too many good ones coming out. I know a lot of people liked the new Spider-Man. I never played it, so I can't really say much.
I liked the first new Spider-Man. I haven't played the second one. I was waiting, but I think I'm just going to bite the bullet and just play it now because I was waiting for the 5, but I'm probably just going to buy it just because I want to play for the 4. But the stuff that we've got in the concrete news, you've got some more people coming, Loki and things like that, another graphics overhaul to match the current systems with PS5 and Xbox. But I guess the big thing is that you're able to players or to pick the same hero if you want to, and also they kind of fucked up. They released skins for future Marvel content on the Marvel's Avengers loot store. I hate that I have to even fucking say that's even a part of video games, but
Loot store.
Yeah. So they released skins of stuff, and then they're like, oh, fuck, whoops, that's some content y'all weren't supposed to see, but oh, my bad.
I mean, I guess it's good because that kind of like lets people know that like, hey, we do have a lot of content for the future.
Yeah, it does. Look forward. And another game, Lucas, I don't know if you play this one, is getting another expansion, and I swear by this. I've swore by it the entire time that we've been on the podcast, and pretty much a lot of times that I've been playing this, I never gave up on No Man's Sky. I never did. Kind of. I kept it, and I played it for a little bit. It was all right. And then all the controversy back in 2016 and all that bullshit. And then I just left it on the shelf, and I didn't touch it. I kind of even forgot I had it. And then
I think you are a lot like everyone else.
They did a great job, though, with the overhaul, and they finally released a game that what it was supposed to be. And I'll be honest, I played it. I still have it on the Game Pass. I think I own it, honestly, on every system because I play it so often on different systems. it's just it was great. It was finally what we thought it was going to be. It was really, really, really fun to play. But now they're just continuing to do more updates. Like I said, the No Man's Sky, they expanded. They put storylines. They put actual things for you to do. Little quests more than just that stupid chasing around. And they actually have an ending. There's interactive bases you can get. You can get capital ships. You can even play this thing in virtual reality. You can play in third person now, which I love playing in third person and in first person. It's still fun, but I love playing in the third person. There's jetpacks, jumping around. More expansion though, so continue to content. So I've always just wanted to say, this just goes to show you that you can take a piece of shit and turn it into pretty good gold.
You can polish it a little bit.
Yeah, because it was. I have no problem saying that it was a piece of shit back in the day, because it was.
Literally every single person ever would say that. But yeah, so I think both of my brothers and a little group of my friends, about a month or two ago, they were all like, "Hey, we heard things about the newest expansion, not newest, but it's the revamped,
the one, right?
Let's give it a try." And then they were hardcore playing it for like hours and hours a day for like weeks.
Wow,
they were having a blast with it. And then I have a different group of friends that all play it in VR, and they absolutely love it.
I want to try it in VR. I need to figure out how to play it. I've got the headset. I just need to figure out how to play it in VR, but I heard it's a lot of fun in VR.
But it is definitely real cool to see that the company, took that game, they realized like, hey, we messed up hard. Let's start over. That's just what they had to do, because they apologized and they just get that fresh start, and they worked hard, and they put out a good product, and they're continuing to put out a good product. I'm excited for this Origins update. They're calling it colossal weather changes, they said, which is crazy. Some of the weather stuff that you play through now is even intense. More creatures, more buildings. So just like I said, just continuing to add, good to already good, already gold. That game is big.
It's huge, yeah.
Like just having my brother kind of explaining to me and showing me like the whole like light year system and how it'll take in like X amount of time to travel from like here and there, and like every single one of these stars is like owned by some other random player. It's crazy.
It is crazy, and it's really cool because that interactive little multiplayer base I was telling you about, it's cool to see all the different people that show up there, and it just seems like a little spaceport, a little hangout, and that's fun too. I had a little more precisely. There's a lot of freedom as well in the game now too, because like I was on my capital ship, and then in real time I watched all of this happen. The little nerd in me, I was like, this is crazy that this is even happening right now. But my buddy Billy, he came into my capital ship. I watched him fly and land. Of course, we're in an Xbox party, so I'm hearing him talk like, yep, coming in right now. It was so surreal and so real, that feeling of the experience. And like I walked over to his ship, like from in the capital ship, and I was like showing him around, like, yeah, this is our ship, And it was really cool to do that. I was like, good on you guys that you finally, pulled through on the promise that you said you would.
It seems like it's a hoop. I don't think I would play it alone, but if I had like a group of other people that I was like creating my little star systems with, I think that would be a blast.
Build bases too. That's a lot of fun. But yeah, if you want to play with me sometime, we should figure out if we can. Like I said, I want to try and figure out what I can do with playing it in VR. I hope I don't have to actually repurchase the game again. That would kind of suck, but
possible.
It is possible. But
it might make you.
Yeah. Do you got any our next topic for us, Lucas? What's going on?
Let's see. It says here something about the Olympics sponsoring esports events.
Yeah. So now that the world's coming back to a little bit, they talked. The Olympics is acknowledging that video games is a sport, and in that esports is something that's going on, and they're offering some international playing and young players to play as like an Olympic sponsored event, not an actual entering into the Olympics. Don't get confused with that. but it's a step in the right direction. Possibly that one day that might be a thing. There might be a virtual Olympics for things like this, virtual FIFA, basketball, all that stuff can be put into a virtual Olympics category. Plus, you could even do things, like League of Legends and the other big esports games that they got.
I definitely think that's a super interesting thing, because I'm sure there's going to be somebody somewhere is always going to be angry about something. And for the Olympics, that's been going around since, I can't even tell you.
Forever. Yeah.
just forever ago. And it's always been this like super athletic thing, like, oh yeah, like the best of the best in the entire world. So somebody's gonna be angry if that ever becomes like an Olympic event. But also, is that any much different from like tournaments today?
No, it's not.
It's just who it's owned by.
And that's cool. It's supposed to sponsor community and friendship and well playing and sportsmanship and international. Yeah, it's representing that. So why not? That's exactly what the Olympics is, just like Lucas says. But so far, what we've got the information from the International Olympic Committee. The Olympic Virtual Series will feature competitions in auto racing, baseball, cycling, rowing, and sailing. They said that that they could open to adding esports to the Olympic roster possibly one day.
I think it's certainly a possibility.
I think it is too.
For something back when I used to play like League of Legends in high school, whenever they had their like Worlds tournaments, they would like rent out like I think it was the entire like Staples Center in LA, and that was just like all people just coming to watch these teams play League of Legends on a big screen. Like,
it's awesome. Millions and millions of people will watch League of Legends and all that shit. Yeah.
I was watching it.
Yeah, it's fun. I don't even play that game, and it's fun to watch that shit. Here at Full Sail, they have the esports arena. They have like Hearthstone stuff, and it's really cool to see people gather and cheer on. And I don't really know what the fuck's going on usually in some of the esports games, but you just hear the crowd. Yeah, it's cool to see it. Yeah, you can tell it, and it's things get hype. It's just like in any other sports, events happen in the game. That's like, oh man, on the edge of your seat stuff.
And if it gets people excited and brings in money, then
good to go. Yeah. Well,
people will do it. People will make it happen.
People will make it happen. So I know we mentioned Call of Duty Warzone a little bit earlier, and you said you're not a player at all. I've played here and there. I really enjoyed the Halloween update of Warzone. I really, really liked that a lot. I played the shit out of that. The zombies was a lot of fun in Warzone. And they came back. The zombies have come back because Warzone, they had the destruction of Verdansk. So they got rid of the map, and then there was like a nuclear thing that went off, zombies going everywhere. A new map is now out to play and explore, and things are starting to change for another whole new big open map that just like Verdansk.
It's interesting how much content they're pumping out for a free game.
Yeah, it's true. But I think it's great, though, Warzone. I think it's one of the best free-to-plays, and I think it is the best Battle Royale. But
everyone's playing it. You open up Twitch, and the first 10 things you see is going to be that.
Yeah, and it's fun. It's It's over and over again. The repetition play that plagued other games hasn't plagued Warzone, and that's really cool to see that. But a lot of people, they couldn't play the update for like this whole nuclear destruction thing, Lucas, because they like a long wait times to play, kind of like a virtual waiting room to get in there and play.
Really?
Yeah.
The servers were just being so overwhelmed.
A lot of people wanted to figure out what was going on.
Interesting. Yeah, that's always a bummer.
Yeah.
That would happen in like whenever I played Destiny 2 a lot. So whenever like a big update would come out, usually that entire like first or second day was just like, you're probably not getting on.
No, yeah. It's hard, man, to wait for those 45 minutes for it to play a video game. That's annoying.
Yeah, because you get home from work, you get home from school, and
Yeah.
an update just came out that you've been looking forward to, and it's like, oh, cool, wait time, 2 hours.
Yeah.
Great.
But nowadays, now you can go on YouTube and just, or like you said, Twitch, and just watch someone else do it if you really cared that much.
But that's definitely a downer.
Yeah. But it's cool, though, that, like you said, they're continuing to put so much content into a free game. And I hope that they continue to do that. I can see that this thing's going to go probably a few more years, in my opinion.
I mean, when did the Warzone come out?
I believe that was 19. I think that might have just made the cut for 19 going into 2020.
Actually, it was...
Or was it 2020?
The release date was March 10th, 2020. So, like, 1 week before.
That's right. Right before things shut down, because they released the beta and stuff in November. That's right. And then,
Man, that was
wow.
probably the best possible time they could have released that.
Think about that, man. That's like a freaking marketing genius idea right there. Release it right then and there. Everyone's fucking about to sit at home. No one knew that was going to happen, but
Probably the best time they could have released.
Yeah, I agree. The amount of players they've got probably went through the fucking roof. But next in topic, Microsoft is just continuing to fucking kill it, and at some point people are gonna come over here and say that Enter the Gamer is like a Microsoft affiliated channel, because for the last month we've continued to just really say positive shit about Microsoft, which sometimes if you guys know on Gamer Interrupted, it's not always the case. Sometimes we talk some of the negative shit that goes down, but Microsoft has just continued to do so well. The Game Pass and the content they're releasing, and they're now allowing new game developers to access to their cloud service. I think that's really, really, really cool. That just opens up another world of game development and game design that's just an access to something that is just such a well-established, like, no, don't get me wrong, like Unreal Engine and things like that, they're great, but it's not Microsoft. It's not the powerhouse. It's not what's been around for a couple decades to be able to be accessed.
Can you explain what's going on with that?
Yeah, so like with the cloud service, if you're a game developer or individual and or in business, you're going to be able to get on and see some of the stuff that Microsoft has done in the past and help use that to your advantage when you're developing video games through the cloud service. So they're allowing that people to also get into their official cloud service, Microsoft Azure, which is an open source for them. So people are just going to be able to pull, not all of it, but stuff that they would like people to have readily available to your regular PC.
That's yeah, like you said, I mean, having basically one of the big powerhouses allowing people to do that, I think that's definitely going to be very cool, because I mean, the amount of things that I see people do with things like Unreal Engine,
Mhm.
that is already insane. Like people with like no experience, but that's just like their hobby. It's like, oh yeah, I'm doing a little side project here and there, and they're making things that are like so incredibly cool.
Yeah, and along with this, the cloud PC service, they're gonna be able to basically have a virtual Windows 10 PC on any kind of device that you're going to be able to access, including phones and tablets, for stuff that you're uploading to the cloud and taking down, and projects and whatnot that you're going to be able to use. You're going to be able to see that from your iPhone.
And these are only going up.
Only going up. The future is here, Major Law. The future is here. And taking something from the past that was just so good, and our next topic, Knights of the Old Republic, the Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, still to be revered as one of the better games, Star Wars wise, and just an overall great game back then, and still has continued to be that. So many people have never stopped playing that. A lot of people go back to it, but they have now confirmed that we're going to get something in this universe. Knights of the Old Republic new video game confirmed, and I'm over the fucking moon, because if they can do what they replicated, or if they can replicate what they did back in the day with such a good game in today's technology and today's developers, this thing is just going to be legendary.
Yeah, this is one of those games where, like, throughout the years, it's just been constantly talked about, and, like, whenever it's brought up in conversation, every single person who's played it is like, oh, dude, I remember playing that so much. I personally had it for the original Xbox when that came out in, like, early 2000s.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I remember that was just
Me too.
one of those games that we just always had, like, and it's just never really had too much of a bad rap on it.
It's been a timeless game. It's lived for a long time, and like you said, it hasn't got a bad rap at all. It's just continued to go and go and go. And they've done crazy things with it. You can play it on your fucking iPhone if you want, for like $10. I think you pay it, and you got that thing forever. But some new details with that, because like you said, the conversations people talked about it was always been a rumor for definitely the past decade. It's kind of like one of those things, like, you know, you're like sitting around a room like, oh, when's KOTOR coming? Oh, shut up, Timmy. You know, it's gonna come. It's not gonna happen. Yeah, but
the whole, like, Half-Life 3 joke
Mm-hmm.
in the past, like, 15 years.
yeah. Well, no longer a joke, and I'm looking forward to that, because they also released some details saying that they're going to change the combat system up a lot too. So some new, you know, it's probably going to take what they have in the past and just continue to make it better, and just overall back and forth. I hope that this game will live up to the hype and continue to live on for just like its predecessor had for another 15 years or so.
Know if that's going to be a Xbox exclusive?
No, not yet. No, just no details that other than the confirmation and the gameplay change. But they're saying that the other developers are saying to the Knights of the Old Republic developers, make sure you guys pay attention to Fallen Order, and maybe I think that was their way of being like, okay, so take this as a little blueprint and see what you can do with that. Now, because I remember reporting about this about a month ago, Star Wars video game accessibility is open for all companies now that have the ability, and there's no longer the stranglehold on that shit. So,
I mean, Star Wars games in general have always been such a hot thing.
yeah,
You know,
it's hand in hand. It really is.
Have a Star Wars game, whether it's a pod racing game or like
Mhm.
Lego, like all of them are just great.
You're just good to go. And well, some of them, Star Wars Squadrons, bullshit. Star Wars Battlefront, anything that EA did, bullshit. But prior,
I'll fine tune my sentence there.
yeah.
Majority.
Well, Battlefront 2 on EA is all right now. It was a disaster when it came out, but it's all right now. But no, like it should be timeless, I hope. And that would be really disappointing if it's not, because you'll upset a lot of fucking people. You'll piss off a lot of people.
Yeah.
And that brings me to what I'm pissed off about, primarily because when I read this topic, I was like, come on, again, Amazon? First off, I just think, in my opinion, they just need to not be in the games business at all. You've got everything else. Just stay in your lane. Because now they hyped everyone up for a few years with these rumors of the Lord of the Rings games going to come out. And now they said, no, just kidding. Why? Why did you do that? You shouldn't have just fucking said anything in the first place. That's like your ma telling you that we're going to Disneyland next week, and guess what? We're not. Because the fucking car needs a new oil change or something.
Yeah, I feel any of the like major movie series like that are become video games, for instance, like Lord of the Rings or Star Wars. If any company said like, oh yeah, dude, we're putting an effort to do this, and then they don't do that, I mean, it's just gonna cause a big.
It's gonna be an issue.
Big issue from nerds everywhere.
From all walks of life.
Yeah.
from all walks of life. But no, that's just disappointing, man. So who knows? Maybe there'll be some other Lord of the Rings content coming out later. The last stuff that came out, the Shadows of Mordor and the I forgot the name of something to do with Shadows and Lord of the Rings. That separate kind of story. I thought that was pretty cool, but nothing really compared to some of the Lord of the Rings games when we were kids. They came out with Lord of the Rings Conquest. If you remember that on the 360, that was just basically a copy and paste of Battlefront with Lord of the Rings. It was literally the same fucking thing. But
my personal favorite Lord of the Rings game was on the 360. It was a Battle for Middle-earth 2.
Oh yeah.
Like the RTS, basically StarCraft of Lord of the Rings, which I loved. I love things around that time frame.
That was a great one. Yeah, me too. There was one Lord of the Rings game I played on the GameCube when I was younger that I played a lot. It was an RPG game, and I remember my friends like yelling at me like they didn't understand what it meant to have an RPG game. Like they're like, "Oh, you don't even do anything. You just like make decisions. You like press A and that's it." And I'm like, "Well, that is doing something. You're playing a game. It's just because you're not fucking swinging the sword all the goddamn time." I really enjoyed it because you had to it made you think as a young lad.
I remember going over to a friend's house just 1 or 2 streets down from my house, and he had that same GameCube one.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting, but Lord of the Rings will be timeless forever. I even brought it up today in just like a random conversation, but the movies are great, and I think that there's some other rumors in the world out there saying that there will be some TV series is possibly coming later.
I have heard that within the past week.
Yeah. So that's
who I heard it from or what their sources were, but I heard it.
It's possible there'll be a Lord of the Rings series. That is definitely very, very possible, and that'd be really cool because that's just opening up another can of worms for Lord of the Rings. That's just yeah.
If it's anything like the new Witcher series, it's probably gonna be great.
God damn it, The Witcher is just so damn good. Nothing like it. This topic we'll talk about just for a moment because I thought it was interesting. It doesn't have anything to do... Well, it could, potentially. Audi, the car company, they released a concept for their future car, and there's going to have a projector on it. So, if you need to pull off at a campground and set up, you instead of getting a projector, just turn your car on, watch a movie, play a game. Through the headlights.
The headlights?
Yeah, that's what they are saying. I knew that question was coming.
Such a very obscure... Like, obviously, it's cool. I guess the concept is cool.
Right.
I can't imagine the amount of times or places where I would actually find that useful.
No. I'm trying to think, too. Maybe, like, I started thinking, like, camping, I guess, tailgating, maybe. But other than that, are you just like your car's parked in the garage? You're gonna go out and take it out to the outside and I mean, you could project it on your garage. That that's a possibility too.
Some people being super hyped about that.
Yeah.
Not a large following.
I could see like having maybe like on the garage if you got like a nice driveway, like a little block party kind of thing. People come over, watch it from that way. But honestly, it's just so it's so out there. Just have a regular projector. I don't know. It's just whatever. Really, it's just if that's what you guys want to do, you guys want to do that. It's cool.
The concept is cool.
Yeah, concept is interesting. But the last topic we wanted to bring up just before our top 5, which you got the top 5 this week that you let me know. A Yu-Gi-Oh game, a new Yu-Gi-Oh game is coming out. And this is really cool because there's some of the Yu-Gi-Oh games that are out right now, like Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links. They're fun stuff, but this is supposed to be synonymous along with the newer Yu-Gi-Oh content. I haven't really watched some of the newest Yu-Gi-Oh stuff that's out there right now, but
a card game or a video game?
They're looking for a video game, a new video game. Yeah. For the Nintendo Switch is what they're looking at. But it's supposed to be just basically to go alongside the new TV. It looks cool though. And along with that, they're continuing to put out more content, Konami, as they're saying that there's even more like new Yu-Gi-Oh cards and new promo cards, probably to go along with Yu-Gi-Oh! Rush Duel, the official name, that's coming out on the Switch in August. But this is cool though. So this is like official jump to main gaming with Yu-Gi-Oh! On the Switch.
Interesting. I honestly couldn't even tell you the last time Yu-Gi-Oh! Had a video game.
Well, without Yu-Gi-Oh!, without the visual representation of Yu-Gi-Oh!, you really don't really have anything. That's why the TV series was so so successful when it was running, the original series with Yugi and everybody and Joey and here in America, and even how it was in Japan. But when other than that, you had to. It was all left up to your imagination. Other than the card that you had, you didn't have. I always wanted to watch things move in real time. I wanted to see the Dark Magician and stuff like that. So it's cool. We're finally here. It happened a little late, but we're here.
I even had my own set. I don't think I ever actually knew how to play.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I had my own set, and I had no idea what anything was, but it was cool because everyone else had it.
I played the shit out of that game, I'll be honest, the card game, but I don't remember anything. It was such a young age. I don't remember how to play. I couldn't tell you.
That's such a faint thought.
Yeah. Long time ago. That was like 4th grade, 3rd grade, man. That was a long, long time ago. Well, Lucas, that is all the topics for the week. It's been great having you back and discussing all these interesting topics, a little obscure over there. I know we didn't get to get all of them, but we're going to be doing another recording later this week, and we'll talk, guys, about a couple of topics we didn't get to. Pokemon Snap details are out, and some Sony details about their new movie service, not even here in the States. So we'll talk about that one on the next broadcast. But what's our top 5, man?
So our top 5 for this week, no big deal, I thought of this one. The top 5 games that you wish you could play for the first time again.
Oh man, top 5 games you wish you could play for the first time. That when you read that to me, I was like, yes, that's a good topic. So
I instantly had 5 things ready.
You did. Tell us. Give me your number 5.
So my number 5 is Bioshock Infinite.
Ooh.
I love the Bioshock games growing up. I thought they're all-time favorite series.
I'd have to agree with you right there, man. I'm a huge Bioshock fan.
Top three. And I thought the ending of Bioshock Infinite, just the last 20-minute cutscene. It's long, but I loved it.
Infinite was just fucking wonderful. It's great. It was a great game. I loved it. One of those games you couldn't put down. So that's awesome that you brought that one up. For me, number 5 was Assassin's Creed, the original, the first one. That experience,
I can see that.
It was such a different gameplay style. This is the first time you're like scaling walls and doing assassins through the little knife thing. I would love to experience that again.
I think that was, so I started playing Assassin's Creed with that, and then I got the second one.
Mm-hmm.
This just didn't have the same same heart that I had.
It didn't have. No. Number 4, what do you think for you?
Number 4, I'm gonna go ahead and say Oblivion.
Ooh, okay.
That whole Elder Scrolls series, that's another childhood classic where even if you didn't understand what the heck you were doing, which I had no idea what I was doing, it was still like a blast because the map was just so massively big for its time.
Yeah, huge.
Being able to do essentially whatever you wanted to do. It just had a lot of good memories for me.
Yeah. Well, number 4 for me is it's recent, Red Dead Redemption 2, but I bring it up to the point of because I understand you can go back and play it now. You can play in the online mode. You can try and have a different experience than you had the first time around. But for me, I know I'm never gonna get that connection that I had to the game originally. I'm never gonna Arthur. I'm never gonna feel that story. I'm never gonna feel walking down the street and watching the Irish kid's head get blown off right in front of you. You're never gonna feel that again. So the player choice in that game alone, it's just you're not going to get that same experience. And I was really fortunate to have a great experience with that game the first time around.
It was definitely a good one.
Yeah.
Also very big game.
Massive. Number 3 for you.
Number 3, I got in between Borderlands 1 and Borderlands 2.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Not Borderlands 3, I would never play that again, probably. But number 1 and number 2, just fantastic games. I just remember playing with me and my group of 4 friends, and everybody just playing a different class, and learning about their class, and I think anything like that with the skill tree was fantastic.
Yeah, because you gotta pay attention. You know what I mean? You really have to. It feels like you're working towards something, grinding towards something.
Yeah. You're all using your various class abilities to help each other out.
Yeah.
I love that.
Man, number 3 for me, Need for Speed's Most Wanted. I could not put that down even after beating it. That was one of the first times for me that it was like you beat the game, but there was still stuff to do afterwards. Like, you could go back and visit stuff, drive around open world wise. I still did that, even though there wasn't a lot to do back then. But I really enjoyed that game from start to finish, and it was just one of the best racing experiences I've had in a long time.
I mean, any sort of game where you can put some nice, cool purple.
Yeah. Hell yeah. What's next for you?
Next for me, that is going to be number 2. I'm going to say RuneScape.
RuneScape. Yes, RuneScape.
That's one of those games that I found in like 2nd or 3rd grade. And
Me too.
throughout the years, I've quit a million times, but quitting was just taking a few month break off.
Restarting, going back and forth.
Yeah, and that's just something like one of my best memories is just getting on after school and just spending hours trying to figure out one stupid little quest that probably took like 4 minutes to do.
That was the after school thing to do. MySpace, RuneScape.
Yeah. So some people were into there were like 2 major RPGs out at that time. One was RuneScape, and the other was I can't even think of it.
Yeah, I'm not.
Sorry.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I was more on the RuneScape side of that.
More than RuneScape. Yeah, I was too. I enjoyed it. I remember a friend he gifted me a sword. I thought that was the coolest thing ever. And speaking of RPGs, my number 2 would be World of Warcraft, man. I discovered the original World of Warcraft when I think in 4th or 3rd grade, around that similar time. I would have loved to be that fucking chubby little kid with the big glasses and the shitty computer and the internet service that's still connected to the wall and then into your computer, and that was the norm. I missed that time, man. That was a different time of gaming, and then that was also a weird time on the internet too, because there was a lot of weirdos that were a little bit more open back then with chat rooms, and sometimes you'd be riding, you'd be riding down the forest 5 deep with horses, and the guy next to you tells you he could be 15 years old from Sacramento, and he's most likely not.
Probably not.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I actually never played WoW.
You didn't?
Mm-hmm. When WoW, Classic, when they released the Classic servers.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a blast with that. I wish I would have played when I was a kid. I'm sure I would have absolutely loved it. But I loved it. I loved playing.
It was just so much, yeah. It's a good time. Take us home with your number 1.
Big bad number 1 for me, I'm going to say Halo 2. The Halo series has forever been near and dear to my heart. It was one of the first games that I ever played, Halo 1. And ever since then, we went to the midnight release of Halo 2, Halo 3.
Really?
Even when I was I think Halo 2 came out when I was 9 or something. But that was when we first had Xbox Live.
Yes.
That's the very first online game that we ever played. And so there's just a lot of great memories that we would love to go back to.
Oh man. That's what it is, man. Gaming with memories, and those games that last forever will always be some lasting impressions.
Yeah.
Because they are memories. They're part of their experiences. They're part of you. Part of for me, for sure, of who I am. Number one for me, probably NFL Blitz 2000. And I say that just because of the silliness, the goofiness, the arcade style of all that stuff. The amount of hours that me and my friends had on the N64 on that game was just endless. Just game after game after game. It didn't matter who you were back then. Didn't matter the teams. You know, there was no ratings of Patriots 89 and this and that. Didn't care. It was just like go out there, do stupid football, throw 1,000-yard passes, knock the quarterback out. You know.
Interesting you say that because one of the first GameCube games we ever got was NHL Hits.
One HL Hits, yeah. Those similar games.
That was a big game for us. I mean, me, who I don't really care about hockey at all, but that was still like a blast because it was just filled with all these stupid little cheat codes.
Stupid
like,
ones.
Everyone's head was like a giant or like a horse or something, or like zero gravity, like up. Yeah, those games were.
Those were great. They were fun. Baseball did one, NFL did one, basketball, everyone did one. Baseball had one like you run around the first base and you punch the first baseman on the way out. Like there was a lot of interesting stuff they did back then. But the simpler times, I should say. But guys, that's it for us, and that was a great top 5. Thank you, Lucas, for that. Thank you to all of our sponsors. This episode and more available Amazon, Spotify, and Apple. We're going to be uploading the Big Duke episode. If you guys didn't be able to catch that on Twitch, it's going to be up. And shout out to Fit and Prep for always sponsoring us here at Enter the Gamer. Head over to Fit and Prep online. That's fitnprp.com and see if they'll deliver their food to you in your area now. I can now say that they're outside of Orlando, so we'll see what happens there. But Lucas, it's always great hanging out with you and talking the news and hearing your perspective on video games. It's very different than the other ones that we have on the channel, and I love having you by.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me.
The bread baker. I hope you enjoy your fresh bread that you've always making and your bagels in the morning. I'm sure you'll have one.
I'll have one tomorrow.
Any last minute words for you? Any shout outs? Anything for you? Yeah, I'm gonna, guys, if you're into that sort of thing, if you're here with us on Twitch, I'm gonna be on my personal channel. We're gonna be doing some wrestling, King of the Ring. If you want to come hang out with us, 10:30, we'll be getting started. But that's it, guys. My name is AJ East Coast, and I have been your host. This has been Game Interrupted, another Enter the Gamer actual production. We've been with Major Law, and we'll see you again next week.